Closed captioning for the Casey Malone Show is sponsored by Hunter Stevens Land Title Agency. Integrity, service, and commitment you can trust.
Oh yeah, Casey Malone is serving up local. It's time for the stories of our region, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, and the people in and around the valley. Get ready for some local flavor on the Casey Malone Show.
Today we attend the Tibetan mandala sand painting at the Newcastle Public Library, and I prepare one of my favorites, the La Scala salad. But first, the Youngstown Playhouse. Let's get on with the show. The Youngstown Playhouse celebrates its 100th anniversary on June 21st. The gala, Where the Stars Shine Bright, promises to be an amazing night, and the organizers have planned an evening not to be missed.
Once I built a railroad, made it run, made it race against time. Once I built a railroad, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime?
Well, of course, Rick Blackson is going to be a part of the big celebration for the Playhouse. You have to remember him. He's been in so many theatrical productions.
When I read Jack Ballantyne's book, Where the Stars Still Shine, which is the basis for the title of the show, Where the Stars Shine Bright, which can get a little confusing, I was so impressed, and I said, wow, there is so much information of things that I had no idea about this place. Jack and I prepared an outline for John Cox and the board, and we talked about how we could take and reduce and redact his book and break it down into decades that the Playhouse has been in existence, the 1920s, 30s, and so forth. And we'd be able to create a narrative that would be able to pull some of the real fun stories, interesting things about the directors.
That's a lot of material. Think about 100 years.
Yeah.
You know, is it the plays or is it more of a historical look too?
Well, it's a combination. It's a combination of things. And the way that we decided that we would do it is we're going to have the main part of the stage be the big giant screen.
Right.
And Jack had gone through the archives for 8 years here, and he pulled hundreds and hundreds of photographs. So we're going to be showing these photographs, and there'll be musical background on the piano and then we have Playhouse veterans who will be reading the narrative, a male and female narrator for every decade. And then sprinkled in will be performances by Playhouse veterans and younger people and an ensemble of people singing mostly very, very well-known Broadway songs.
Dr. John Cox. He is the board chairman here at the Playhouse, but most importantly, a former Grand Marshal of the Mahoning Valley St. Patrick Parade.
Absolutely. With Ms. Maureen Collins, who holds the record as the 3-year term.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this 100-year anniversary is just so important, I think, for the Valley and for this facility.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's no other theater in the area, in the country, that's been 100 consecutive years of theater. And I never wanted to see the place go away, so that's why I've been fighting so hard, and it's been great that we've been slowly but surely gaining steam.
Exactly.
It's been nice.
I mean, the renovations are very noticeable.
Thank you.
And then your expansion.
70 seats in the Moyer. We got about 450 upstairs in the auditorium, so now we're going to take over the 3rd floor of the Morley building, where the Valley Western Reserve is, and that's about a 150-seat house that we'll have there, and we'll be downtown.
And that is a sweet spot.
It's a sweet spot.
That is for those smaller shows.
Smaller plays, more intimate plays. So this gives us the opportunity to do a little bit more and allow us to bring in different theater companies to provide not just our theater and our productions, but then other productions of other community theaters.
And then, I love that you are also partnered with Deor.
Yes.
Because Beautiful and your bigger productions, Color Purple.
Yeah.
And then that is so nice that you have their box office, so you're just combining.
Correct. It makes it centralized for the audience members. And it makes it easy for tickets and things like that. And it's great to be partnered up with those guys and get their experience for some of the administrative things that we need. We do it for fun. We do it for no money, and people have done it well before us for no money. So it's the love of the thing, it's the passion of it, and that's people want to be involved in it. We want them all to come back. That's bringing people together. That's what theater's supposed to do.
Well, Maureen, you have been a huge musical influence in my life.
Aww.
Really? Remember? You came and you were the music teacher at St. Christine's.
That's right. You and I have been singing together for years. I'm so proud of all you do.
All the plays you guys put on, and then you just...
Some of the alumni that are coming are people I worked with in the early years, my early years here, and then some of the young faces that I'm working with now are a part of the youth theater here. Man, making an impression on young people and giving them the inspiration to come here, that's what this place was for me, an inspiration. So when I was asked to star alongside Brooke May in Beautiful at the beginning of the season, Mike Moritz had reached out, and I went, oh my gosh,
You were the stage mom, although not really
I was her mother, and I was
right.
way too old to be her mother, but my gosh, what an experience and how that came together. So to start out the season so beautifully, and then now to end out their season, but there's gonna be lots of people here that are gonna spark a memory, and a lot of people will pay tribute to that aren't here anymore. You know, a lot of people that took my heart with them when they left. But their pictures are all over. So I'm hoping people will join us.
So Jack, you are like the historian for the Youngstown
Right.
Playhouse, and you wrote the book about the 100 years.
Correct.
What began your involvement with the Youngstown Playhouse?
Oh, wow. That goes back to 1973. I'm one of the few people that was here for both the 50th and the 100th. Okay. If I make it that far.
You will. You got another month.
Exactly.
You're going to make it.
When I came here in '73, Bentley Lenhoff put me on as assistant stage manager for Night Watch, I think it was. That was my first show here, and I just kept doing shows from then on. I mean, I've been in and out of town, but for 50 years I've been doing shows here.
Of all the shows, what really stands out that you've directed or been involved with?
Oh, wow.
Can you give me some that really stand out?
That's a tough question because there have been so many. Most recently, probably Beautiful.
Oh,
that
was amazing.
At the Dior, but it was still, for a community theater, to mount that and to do it, it was impressive.
Well, a lot of these memories, I'm sure you put into the production we're going to see on the 21st.
Right.
How hard was that to get that all together? I mean, that was quite a task.
Well, the main trouble we had, is there is so much stuff in the book. It's a 500 and some page book. And to cut it all down and try and get it into a 2.5 hour show, I mean, there is tons more that we cut than what we're using, which is pretty typical for any kind of media type of thing that you're doing, a movie or film or anything.
What could we expect from that show?
I think a lot of surprises. We're going to do a few little tricks that probably people aren't expecting, and people coming back from the past. People like Dana Snyder's coming in. Not she won't be in the show, but she choreographed many shows here. She'll be in the audience. Janice Aubrey will be here. I mean, a lot of people from the past are coming back. Debbie Switney, who did a lot of shows here, is going to be one of the narrators. And her husband, John Morgan, also did shows here. So we have a lot of musical numbers from shows that were done here. And even some character things. Some characters from the past in the Playhouse that had memorable quotes. So we're going to have people come out and portray those characters just real briefly. So it's going to be a lot of surprises.
Now it's done. Say, brother, can you spare a dime?
The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor.
Hi, I'm John Stanko.
And I'm Robbie Fellman from Boardman Subaru, introducing the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester Hybrid.
The most fuel-efficient Forester ever with up to 40% better fuel economy.
And over 580 miles of driving range per tank of gas.
With increased horsepower and torque while being the lowest emissions Forester ever.
The Forester is one of the best-selling and most award-winning SUVs in America.
Test drive yours today at Boardman Subaru.
Just south of Route 224 on South Avenue.
It's patio season at Carmela's. Enjoy our family's traditional Italian favorites and creative daily specials. We're open for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday. Carmela's on Western Reserve Road in Boardman.
This is GABA Camp. Barrier-free camping and nature for our friends with disabilities. Thank you, for your generous donations. We now have our first phase, but more work needs to be done. A lodge will provide a meeting place and food service for our adults with disabilities and their families. GABA Camp is a 501c3 organization. We need your help to grow. Donate to GABA Camp. Giving is living.
Weight loss goals aren't one size fits all. At Hurricane Health and Wellness, we understand the struggle. We've been there too. That's why we offer the most popular, effective weight loss medications at an affordable price. Look and feel your best today with Hurricane Health and Wellness.
You already know us for our top-tier windows, but what about our advanced gutter systems? With our Double Pro gutter filtration, 2 layers of industrial-grade aluminum keeps debris out of your gutters and drives rainwater away from your home. Plus, our continuous hanger technology reinforces your entire gutter system for maximum strength and drainage. And we'll install it all in as little as 1 day. Why wait for the next storm to get gutters that perform? Not only do we stand behind our gutters, we hang on them.
Sweet Memories Vintage Teas and Candy in Liberty, a store like no other. Step through our doors and travel back in time. Remember the nostalgic candy, vintage sodas, and retro toys you thought were gone forever? You'll find all your classic favorites and so much more. Because memories are best when shared, we give back to local charities. Sweet Memories Vintage Teas and Candy, bringing you joy one memory at a time.
Shop C-Max Northside Appliance in Struthers, the local appliance store that beats big box prices every day.
3 generations serving Youngstown, Ohio, soon to be our 4th.
You better come on in my kitchen.
Well, today I am going to prepare an excellent salad. It is so easy to make, it comes together quickly, it's so flavorful, and it really doesn't have that many ingredients. And this is the signature salad from La Scala restaurant in Beverly Hills. And my sister Denise, when she lived out there, raved about this salad and would go there and tell me how great it was and all the ingredients, but I never got to enjoy it myself. Well, a lot of celebrities have been talking about this on the internet, and I'm reading the ingredients. I said, oh my gosh, it's the La Scala. So I'm going to make it for you now. You are going to love this dish. Let's go over the ingredients and then we will toss this salad. For this salad recipe, you'll need 1 head of iceberg lettuce, rinsed and finely chopped, 3 to 4 leaves of romaine lettuce, washed and finely chopped, 1 cup of Italian salami, julienne, 1 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese, and 1 15-ounce can of chickpeas, rinsed and drained. For the dressing, you'll need 1/3 cup of extra virgin olive oil, 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar, 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard, 1/2 teaspoon of salt and pepper, and 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, and more for serving. Well, as you can see, I have the iceberg and the romaine lettuce here in the bowl. And really, all you do is add the ingredients. I matchsticked all this salami, which is delicious. And then the shredded mozzarella cheese. And then the can of chickpeas. I mean, that's the ingredients. My mother, Jelaine, really likes this salad, but she hates chickpeas. So when she eats it, all there are chickpeas left on the plate. So that is our salad. And all we're gonna do is get it dressed. So now I'm gonna take the olive oil. I'm going to add the red wine vinegar. I'm going to add the Dijon mustard. Get all of that out of there. Then I'm going to put the 1/4 cup right here in the dressing because that really helps spread it out. And then the 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a little bit more. And then the pepper. All right, so I'm just gonna whisk this together and get it emulsified and blended together really well. I think that looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Sure. Okay, so now you just pour this over all these ingredients. And then you just toss it and make sure every bit gets covered with the dressing, and you thoroughly mix the salami and all the cheese. All right. That looks pretty good. I've only lost one piece of salami. I don't think that's too bad. All right. So let's get this plated and see if this is a good batch of the La Scala salad. So I plated some of the salad. It's so fresh and crunchy. And you know, when you serve it, a lot of people like to add a little bit more of the grated Parmesan. So I did that too. But I'm telling you, did you see how easy this was? It is so good. I mean, it is dead on every single time I've made it. Fresh, crunchy, love the chickpeas in there. And I am just going to serve it with a very nice Sauvignon Blanc from California. Really easy, not too grapefruity, and it is just perfect with this salad. Delicious. See how easy this was? Go to my website, CaseyMaloneShow.com. Look up the La Scala salad recipe, and honestly, you are going to make this time and time again. Cheers. The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor.
MyMe Global is your premier local resource for all things 3D. At MyMe, we make 3D portraits of you, your pets, and cake toppers. Or witness your child's growth year over year and get their graduation MyMe for free. Photos don't last, but a MyMe lasts a lifetime. Visit the MyMe store, located in the Round Glass building on Belmont. Get your own 3D printer, where we assemble, repair, and get it running right. We even give you a discount on materials. At MyMe, we know 3D.
I'm Elizabeth Bernard. For more than 30 years, I've provided our Valley with sound legal advice. My associate Jennifer Righetti and I will be your legal representatives if you're involved in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident. Don't try to handle it yourself. We'll navigate the red tape of dealing with doctors, medical insurance, and all the obstacles that you'll face. Remember, there are no upfront fees on personal injury cases, and hiring a lawyer does not mean you have to go to court.
Call attorney Elizabeth Bernard, local legal experience for more than 30 years.
Locally sourced is good, whether it's ingredients or a bank, and that's why my bank is Farmers National Bank. Since 1887, Farmers has remained rock solid through every economic condition. Having a bank with a history of safety, soundness, and conservative management is a must. It all boils down to this. You need a bank that will help you reach your goals. I do too, and Farmers is mine. Farmers National Bank, rock solid.
We want to help you find a ring that's as unique as your love. We'll guide you through the entire process, from deciding between natural and lab-grown diamonds, discovering the perfect stone, to finding the setting that fits your style. And with our in-store repair services, we'll make sure your ring looks stunning for years to come. Whether you're looking for timeless elegance or a modern twist, we'll work with you and your price range to find the perfect ring.
Get real, get Kamara.
Andrew Henley is the director here at the Newcastle Library, and when I found out that this was going to be here, I mean, I can't imagine that this is right here in Newcastle. How did you get the monks to come here?
When I was a student at Westminster College, I actually saw them do a sand mandala. For the whole week, they were doing this mandala right in the student center. And it was such an impactful experience for me that I was wanting to make sure that members of Newcastle also had a similar experience. They are from Atlanta, Georgia. It's part of a center for the Drepung Loseling Monastery. And so we asked them what times they might have available. We contacted them a while ago just to make sure we secured them. And so they said that they had time, and so we actually structured our spring cultural series around religious experiences of the world. And so this was the culminating event for our spring cultural series. We've partnered with our youth-led humanities program, and so today children were actually using some of the sand and doing their own sand painting. This was part of a funding through the PA Humanities and the Arts and Education at the Hoy and many of our other sponsors that we were able to make this possible.
Well, you know, the world is just so small now. I mean, you know, and to expose everyone to all these different cultures, it's really interesting.
So we started our cultural series. The fall cultural series of last year focused on death and dying, which
ooh,
yeah.
Okay, you had to lighten up.
So our spring cultural series focused on religious experiences of the world. And so we saw it as a wonderful opportunity to expose people to many of the local organizations, such as the Sisters of the Villa Maria. And then we also focused on the Quakers, which were here in Lawrence County, right on the Ohio-Pennsylvania line near Lowville. We showed artifacts that were dug up in the 70s by Dr. White, who was a professor at YSU. And so this component that we're trying to really embrace that programming angle.
Bringing a lot of history too from our area that is forgotten.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know there was Quakers here. See,
yes,
I just learned something today. So at the very end, when it is destroyed,
dismantled,
or dismantled, a lot of times they throw it into a water body. Where would they put this?
So we've looked at our creeks and rivers here in Newcastle, and unfortunately the banks are so steep.
Yes.
And so we are actually going to be doing the dismantling here on site, and then individuals would be able to take some of the sand home with them.
And then what will that symbolize? Like when you take that, what does that meaning?
Yeah, so it's part of the meditation that they experience by doing the mandala. And then at the end, understanding the destruction of the mandala. For me, I saw it as sad because it was some great piece of art that we just destroyed.
It's gone, right.
But you know, when we think of life as temporary, and when we think of our time here as temporary, and that's how I interpret it. Yeah.
This is Gabby, and she's the Adult Services Librarian here. And congratulations, she just got her library science degree.
Thank you.
You must be very proud.
I'm very excited about that, yeah.
And what are you seeing that, you know, draws the adults back to the library?
Yeah, so we have really a wide variety of programs, and we're really open to doing just about anything if we think there's interest in it.
Yeah.
So, you know, our biggest one is we do a spring and a fall cultural series. Of course, you've heard all about the spring cultural series, but the fall cultural series that happened last fall the theme was death and dying. So we had a professor from Westminster College came and talked about different like folklore surrounding death and dying. We had the local coroner come in.
Why did you choose library sciences for a major?
So for my undergrad, I was a history and political science major because history is really my true love for everything. But after undergrad, I kind of, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with myself, and a position opened at the local library in Sharon, which is where I used to work. And so I went there, I was like, I'll try it out. Like I loved going to the library, I loved doing that type of work. And it turns out, okay, I love this. I can see myself doing this. And so then, I went and I got my degree and went back to school for a library science degree. And then the position opened up here, and this, there's so many opportunities here. As Andrew told you, we are doing something all the time, multiple things all the time. So it really is a great opportunity to work with all the books, with all the different types of programming that we do. Part of our role is to make sure that we are evolving for those community needs. So, we have access through our district system, through Libby, for ebooks, audiobooks. We have, public computer access to Ancestry.com, to do genealogy research. And we have people in this library from open to close using all of those resources.
Well, the Newcastle Public Library is hosting the Tibetan monks, and they are behind us right now making the mandala. And Taewong is the interpreter, and you are in the States for 2 years right now, visiting from India.
Right. In last year, in 2024, we arrived here in the USA. So from February 2024, we travel in North America.
And are you enjoying all the different spots
Yes,
that you're going
yes,
to
yes,
here? Because I know a lot of people are interested in
Yes,
having
okay.
you here.
Yes,
Do you bring the sand and the colored sand with you, or do you make it here?
yeah, we
in the
bring it
States?
from in India. We met in India, and we bring it from India.
And then all the colors, where do you draw them from? Is it more of is it a ceremonial type deal when you
No, actually,
dye
these are the marble crush marble, right? Sorry, crush marble. So we add with the watercolor. No, we are using non-toxin color because when we complete the mandala, we have to pour the sand into the blessing sand into the water.
So after the design is laid, it always begins in the center and then moves out. Is there
Yes.
symbolism
Yes,
behind
yeah,
that?
yes, please. It's a mandala. It's an early Indian language. Literally translated as a center and surrounding, right? So it's it's a 2-dimension. In a 3-dimension, it's a palace. It's a palace of specific Buddha deities, Outwardly, it's just a palace, but inner meaning is a long, profound meaning of this mandala. So there is why some scholars also saying it's a roadmap to enlightenment. So the center one is our destination. For that one, what kind of practice we have to do, this mandala will show us. You can see the 3 circles, last one, 3 circles. This symbolize the 3 principal paths of enlightenment. So these are the Buddhist, foundation of practice. Renunciation, bodhicitta, and way of thought, emptiness. These are the foundations. Enlightenment is not just a thing that someone give it to you as a gift, So we have to effort, we have to cultivate inner qualities like love, compassion, kindness. When you practice these things, then at some point we can say that, oh, now you are on this path, you are very close to enlightenment. It's like that. So this will show us. That's why you're saying that it's a roadmap to enlightenment.
The Casey Malone Show is sponsored in part by Denise and John York and the DeBartolo Corporation.